You're watching Pyro Media Network.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. Alright, let's start the show.
Hello. Happy Wednesday and welcome to April. I'm Tasha, champion, the Shenomenal coach of champion empowerment. Always teaching you to love the champion you are. And we are back with a brand new episode of She is Shenomenal. And today I have two beautiful sisters that are doulas. And I've been wanting to do an episode about doulas for a very long time. So we're going to be chatting with Ciara and Adia Shabazz about why Black women should really consider having a doula. You guys know I've done a few health episodes these past few weeks dealing with the dealing with the health of Black women and why we need support, why we sometimes need someone to help us advocate for ourselves because we tend to be the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to our health concerns. A lot of medical providers don't listen to us. We are oftentimes ignored in the hospitals. And so today I really wanted to bring them on so we could really talk about what does that mean and what does it look like for you when you are pregnant. Hi, Rochelle. Thank you so much for joining. I also want to mention before we just get into this conversation, I've been spending a couple of days in Los Angeles. Many of you know that I live like in the desert area. And I'm in an area where I can actually walk to local shops, walk to local cafes, and just get out and enjoy beautiful weather, sunshine, trees, flowers. And when you're in the desert, you don't often see that. But I feel like in that time that I was walking, it made me think about the things that we really don't take the time to just pause and be a part of or connect to, because life is moving. Life is life, and we're always saying, oh my God, life is life and there's so much going on, I'm so busy. But I just want to encourage you guys, it's springtime now. A lot of flowers are going to bloom. We're going to get the fresh, crisp air. I know for some of you, it's going to be allergy season. But whenever you can take the time just to go outside, enjoy the sunset, like get your vitamin D, enjoy the crisp air, go outside and just inhale and exhale, spend time with yourself in nature, go for walks, like do things outdoors. We're just, when we were younger, and when I say we, I mean my generation and the ones above me, like we spent time outside, and it was all about when the street lights came on. And now we're so busy with life, with internet, with social media, with streaming. Like we spend more time in front of a screen than we ever do outside now. So I just want to encourage you guys, like it's springtime, summer is coming. It's a good time to get out and exercise, start preparing that summer body for that bikini or the beach or whatever you want to do. Now is the time. But I've had such a great time just being outside, and I wanted to encourage you to do the same thing. Get outside, enjoy nature. It's such a beautiful way to connect to yourself. For me, nature is a representation of God. So I love it. And I hope you guys spend some time outside because it's real good. It's real good for you. Also, before we get started, I want to remind you guys the Shenomenal Women's Brunch. Now we're on the 4th year. Like this is year 4. What started out as just an idea for a book, has turned into an annual empowerment event. And now we are here. There's the book. If you are interested, you can go to shenomenal.com to purchase a copy of that book. But right now, if you go to shenomenalbrunch.com, I have an incredible savings for those as a thank you to those who are ready to take action and secure their seat. You have a very limited time to save $25 on your ticket. So now is the time. Head over to shenomenalbrunch.com, secure your ticket at a fantastic discounted rate, but it's always a beautiful space to be in. This year we have moved from summer to fall, so it's going to be September 21st this year, still at the Hilton Grand, Lord, that means I need a vacation. Still at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fontana, California. And if you have been there the first, second, or third year, all 3, you know how delicious the food is. So you definitely want to join us for a wonderful empowerment event. Our theme this year is pausing courageously to move forward. Like there's a lot of power in that pause. So what does that look like? And how do you keep yourself from being stuck? And if you are stuck and you're trying to figure out, hi, Teresa, thanks for joining. If you are stuck and you're trying to figure out how to move forward, the brunch is where you want to be. We are going to really empower you. We have an incredible panel and speakers that's really going to talk about what does that look like and what you need to do. And for those who have mentioned or asked me about the Shenomenal Women's Retreat coming up next month, we're just about 4 weeks away, and I have 3 spots available right now. So if you are ready to secure those spots, head on over to shenomenalretreat.com. There it is. You can use the QR code if you want, but it's going to be a 3-day, 2-night, all-inclusive weekend. I have the incredible Chef Sherelle of Love Premier Catering and Events that will be providing a beautiful dinner that Saturday night. But I want women to come and enjoy themselves, release your titles. It's a time to just connect with you. And remember that retreats are a good way to implement the self-care routines that we all say we need to have. All right. So there's my spiel. Get outside. Go to shenomenalbrunch.com, grab your ticket while I'm offering an incredible discounted price, just to thank those who are ready to take action. And if you are ready for a retreat in just a beautiful space of other amazing women, then you want to be at the Shenomenal Retreat. So go to shenomenalretreat.com, and I cannot wait to see you guys. This year has already started off amazing, and we're just going to really grow what that feels like and amplify the things that you can have in this life and this year. All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. That is enough talking for me. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm so excited to chat with Adia and Ciara Shabazz just so we could talk about doulas. This was something that, like I said before, I wanted to do for a long time. And I actually thought about being a doula at one point, and it's not that far removed from me, but the importance of it is what I want you to understand. So if you're thinking about having a baby, if you know someone that is having a baby, this is the episode they need to watch. So go grab them while we go to commercial break, bring them here, and let's have this conversation together. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19. But their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, we're going to bring on two just absolute beautiful women who are doulas for Black women. They are with Soul Sister Doulas, and we get to have just a wonderful conversation on what it means and why you should consider it if you are ready to have a baby or maybe even your next baby. But let's welcome our guest. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
How are you guys? Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm really excited to welcome you to this show. As I was saying earlier, having a conversation about doulas is so important, and especially now more than ever for Black women. So before we even dive into the whole pregnancy and doula conversation, I'm going to have you guys introduce who you are, minus the work you do. I just want to introduce who you are. So I'm going to start with Ciara. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us about you and what you do.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ciara Shabazz. I am 21, and you said outside the work. So outside of doula work, I'm also an early literacy educator. I've been teaching early literacy for, I believe, 6 years now. And I also run a wash and fold laundry business called HD Laundry Mom. So I serve all the high desert doing that, which is cool. On top of my work, I'm also a mom of 1 2-year-old, which is super cool, and a wife to a husband.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then doula work is something I've recently taken on. I've been a doula for, it's about to get to a year now. So yeah, that's me.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. She's like, listen, I'm early literacy educator. I'm a doula. I have a wash and fold business. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. She is all the things. Okay. There. I love it. I love it though. Adia, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Adia. I am a licensed vocational nurse as well as a doula. We have a business, Soul Sister Doula Services. I am an avid reader. I am a lover of all things birth, pregnancy, postpartum. I am, what else am I? I'm a young woman. I'm 23 years old. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me and who I am.
Awesome. Again, welcome. So, Adia, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. How did
Okay.
you get into the doula services? Like, I know you're an LVN, so you've probably seen a lot of things, but how did you get into the doula services?
How did I get into it? So my journey into birth work started when I was actually at my last term in nursing school. We got the opportunity to go to a birth center and I got to witness so many things. And when I was there, I just felt the overwhelming sense of this is it. This is what I'm meant to do. This is my passion. So originally I wanted to get into midwifery and I watched all the videos, listened to podcasts, listened to books, and I found that a lot of women before they become midwives are actually doulas. So I said, okay, let's look into that. And I looked into how I could become a doula. And then I stumbled
Mhm.
across an in-person doula training, which is where I ended up being trained. It was Grounded Beginnings in Sankofa, and it was sponsored by IHP as well as Loma Linda. So I took that training, and then that's kind of what got the ball running. We opened up our company, and then now we're just taking it all the way. So that's a little bit about my birth work journey. Yeah.
Beautiful. Ciara, same question. Like, how did you get into becoming a doula and why was it important to you?
So I also started with the training with Sankofa, the Sankofa Birth Workers Collective. It was a wonderful training. And after doing the training, I didn't realize how much I would enjoy being a doula until after I got my first client. And it was such a beautiful experience. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this over and over and over again. And that's what got me to stick with it. What got me first interested, or I would say was fueled my passion when it comes to birth work, is me having my own daughter. She's 2. Her name is Kinza. She's amazing. And once I was pregnant with her, I was very lost. I didn't know about all the different resources. I was really scared, didn't know what was really going on. To be honest with me, I knew I was pregnant. But outside all of that, all the different things I would be experiencing, and even just postpartum. So even when I had her, I said yes to everything. When it came to the epidural, just give me everything, not knowing what everything was.
Mm-hmm.
And after I had her, I was just thinking about, okay, now I have her here. Now what? And that's a whole another phase, postpartum phase, that people don't even talk about. So I was
Right.
thinking, how can I receive, like, I know that there's other ways around this and I can receive the help that I need. And after experiencing being a doula and having the clients that I have had, being able to provide those people with the experiences that they not only want but need has just been just an amazing experience. And it
Yeah.
always takes me back to mine and thinking, like, this is crazy. All these other women that aren't able to have this experience, I want to be able to support them and give that to them in any way that I can.
Beautiful. Speaking about that support piece in Black women, the past few episodes I've had have centered around like health, and we talk about culturally how Black women and Hispanic women, like in our families, you stay silent. You don't ask for the support you need. You don't talk about the support you need. You got to have this badge of honor and this warrior code that says I'm strong, and asking for help is a sign of weakness. So, in your experience, and Ciara, I'll start with you. In your experience, do you tend to find a lot of women who are afraid to ask for the support or afraid to say, like, I'm struggling with postpartum, or I'm struggling because it's supposed to be a big bundle of joy when you get have this baby, right? So then you're feeling a certain way, you're not sure how to identify it. So what's been your experience with allowing women to understand that they are safe in asking for the support they need?
Yes. So the majority of the women that I worked with thus far, my birthing clients, have been first time moms. So, and when it comes to asking for help, a lot of them don't know how to ask or don't know what to ask for. So when it comes to just informing them on all these different possibilities and all these different ways that they can receive help, it opens doors to them to know, okay, do I need help with this? Do I not need help with this? So they have all these different choices. Um, Everyone I have worked with have definitely had very interesting experiences, all unique but difficult in their own different ways. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to let them know from the jump that I'm talking to me being their doula. I am their friend, even if they don't want me to be their friend. I'm going to be their friend, and I want them to be comfortable with me and as comfortable as they could possibly be. So on top of me doing work, I shared them a lot of information about myself, make it a very nice and safe environment. Just recently, a couple weeks ago, I had my mama's give birth, and it was a very long birth. It was ended up being 24 hours. Adia was my backup doula, and she was there for a lot of the beginning because I couldn't make it. She was awesome. And even after, she was struggling with a lot of different things, navigating breastfeeding stuff, and text me early in the morning asking for if I can help her with getting her breast pump. I just send one to her, like, just let me know what you're going through, and then I can help you in any ways I can, just with sending resources. So I hope it's fun.
I love that it creates this new sisterhood, and I love that. I'm gonna jump and go all the way back. Adia, explain to everybody, what is a doula?
That is a beautiful question. So, a doula, the word actually stems from a Greek word meaning women who serve. So, a doula, specifically a birth or labor doula, is someone who comes alongside women during their pregnancy, labor and delivery, and postpartum periods, just basically helping them, serving them, educating them, and getting them ready and preparing them for birth, coaching them through birth, and then coaching them through the postpartum period. So that is what we do from beginning to end. Most of the times, as soon as we meet the mom until up until like a year postpartum, is we're just there for you. We're coming alongside you. We're serving you. We're helping you. We're your friend, like Ciara says. So that is all about what doula work is about. It's just basically a support, a coach, and a friend.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Because I recently learned, like, there are other doulas, and in most of my life, I've only referenced it to pregnancy, right? And
Yeah.
so now I'm like, oh, there's someone that's a death doula, and you have all these different ones, but now I understand more because it's women who serve. But it is such a beautiful word, because the minute you hear it, for me, there's this warmth that's associated with the word doula, which is what I really like. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Adia, sticking with you, why is it important? Why should Black women specifically consider having a doula during their pregnancy?
That's a big question, and there are so many reasons. Just looking at statistics, you can see
Top three.
an obvious discrepancy when you look at mortality rates between Black women and other races, and even other things like that. Just satisfaction during birth as well. How do you feel about your labor? A lot of times, Black women have a lot of negative feelings toward their labor and delivery. So, why it's important for Black women to have a doula is, number one, I would say, is support, so that you have someone there to support you. As you asked before, why does it seem like Black women are less likely to ask for support? A lot of them don't know that there's an option for support. So a doula is there to support you emotionally, physically, spiritually. We're there to help you along the way, to let you know, hey, you don't have to do this alone. So I'd say number one, why Black women need doulas is support. Number two, I would say as stress relief, because a part of support, is that relieving that stress, make you feel more comfortable. A lot of Black women have a lot of stress and anxiety going into hospitals and situations like that, where there's doctors and nurses, everybody running around. They feel uncomfortable, which raises blood pressure, which leads to all these other interventions, right? So when you have that doula and you're like, oh, this is my friend, but guess what? My friend knows. She knows all this information about birth. She knows what's going on. She can explain these things to me. That's why it's important for Black women to have doulas, because not only are we there to support you, not only are we there to relieve your stress, but we can also help you advocate for yourself. We know the ins and outs of birth, so we can help you to understand, hey, you know what, maybe I don't want to do that right now. Can you give me more education on that? What are alternatives? We can help you to be able to stand up for yourself. So there's so many reasons. There's a billion reasons why I believe Black women deserve doulas, but I think those are probably the top three.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it has a lot to do with that sense of safety when we're going into the hospitals. You hear, like, I tell people, very transparent, I had, through all four of my pregnancies, I had great experiences having my children, but I'm also a woman who absolutely, I mean, to the core of me, I love pregnancy. Absolutely love from the beginning to the end. I love everything about pregnancy. It might be because I didn't experience morning sickness ever, but I really, really love pregnancy. I love how life develops inside of us. Um, but again, at that time, I didn't really know much about doulas. I didn't see it for Black women. So it wasn't anything that I was seeking, but I can definitely see the support that is needed. Ciara, for you, were you guys already, well, not you, because you said about 8 months, but did you have doula support during your pregnancy?
No, I didn't know it was an option. I didn't even know what a doula was when I was pregnant. So
Okay.
I've had different support from different family members, but when it came to consistent support or just me being knowledgeable on different things that I should have been knowledgeable on, I didn't have any of that.
Mhm. Wow. When you say I should have been knowledgeable on, what does that mean?
So me being prepared for every stage of birth. So throughout my entire pregnancy up to birthing the postpartum, being prepared allows you to properly um, handle every stage. So
Mhm.
uh, even when it came to me being in the birth room, like I was explained before, I said yes to everything. When there was a whole bunch of other ways that I could have went about it. Saying yes to epidural, not saying there's anything wrong with epidural, but getting an epidural early on, saying yes to every single medication they're properly giving me, not knowing how to even just properly control my breathing when it came to contractions. Um, Knowledge in those type of areas, and especially with postpartum, I dealt with really, really bad, severe postpartum. It wasn't good. It wasn't okay. It got to the point where I was trying to stay away from my daughter as soon as I had her, not knowing how to handle that. So,
Mhm.
and then having people around me that were giving me help, but also I don't think knew how to um, handle me in that kind of state or give me different tools that I needed to know how I can handle in my own way. So,
Wow. Thank you for that. I want to stick to this postpartum piece because I feel like this conversation may help someone recognize that they might be having postpartum concerns. It may also help another woman to understand that she's not by herself and that there's someone that hears her and there's someone that sees her. Because you guys know I'm transparent across the board. I'm going to be totally honest right now. When I first heard of the word postpartum, I thought it was more about women. It's like when you're pregnant, everything is like, oh my God, you're gonna have a baby. There's so much attention around you. You
yeah.
have that baby and you no longer exist. You answer the phone and people are like, where's the baby? How's the baby? No one asked about you. So I
Mhm.
kind of felt like postpartum was all about the missing attention that you were used to having for, let's say a 7 or 8 month period once people could start seeing that you're pregnant. And that was to my own ignorance, right? But explain, what is postpartum? And Adia, we'll go back to you. What is postpartum and what are some of the signs that maybe women should be mindful of?
I am so glad that you asked me this question. Postpartum is the time period after you give birth. So that is what postpartum is. Now, there's lots of different postpartum mood disorders like postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, postpartum rage. And I'd like to separate those two because everyone who has a baby goes through a postpartum period. And that should be a good thing, right? There's a prenatal period, there's a postpartum period. So postpartum as a whole is good. Now, when it comes to postpartum mood disorders, there's a lot of things we want to be on the lookout for. Immediately postpartum, there's typically a period that women go through. It's called baby blues. So that's just a regular period of sadness. You know, you might cry a lot after you just give birth. You might feel a little down, but that's just that's normal. So that's a thing that most, women may go through. Now, postpartum depression is typically longer, it's drawn out, and sometimes it comes a little bit later after their pregnancy. So if you
Mhm.
are, maybe feeling thoughts of suicide or hurting yourself or your baby, if you are just so out of it, you feel like you can't get up out of bed, you no longer feel a will to live, you're doing these things, maybe you're just distancing yourself from the baby. And you're like,
Mhm.
y'all take care of the baby, y'all take care of him. I'm gonna just lay down, you feed the baby, you do the diapers, you all that. Yes, you're doing that. That's something maybe we might want to look at and worry about. There's different tests, so you can go to a licensed psychologist or things like that, or even just your primary care doctor who should be able to help with that. But if you're feeling those types of signs, that's something that should definitely be looked into, because there are support for women who are going through postpartum depression and some of these other mood disorders. So there is help for you, but it's important to know what is normal and what is not so that you can work on that.
Wow. Sita says, sometimes I believe women can have postpartum up to 5 years. Has that been your understanding and or experience?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
The postpartum period is longer than a lot of people make it seem. They'll be like, okay, postpartum about 3 months, wrap it up. Time to move on to the next thing. Absolutely not. It's something that's long and drawn out, because your body goes through so many changes during this time of pregnancy, right? We're going through so many things. It takes 9 months to fully form your baby. So why would you be perfectly up and ready to go in a couple of weeks? You know what I mean? So yes, up to 5 years typically is what they will say.
I like that you said that. We're going to get ready to take a quick commercial break, but y'all got me in my feelings and y'all got me having some guilt right now, because, in not understanding postpartum, when I saw a woman, Rochelle says, I didn't know that it lasted so long. Listen, Rochelle, I didn't either. But the reason y'all have me in my feelings is because when I would see women like that didn't want to engage with their baby, I was like, oh, lazy mom. Like, dang, you had a baby. Like, what did you think? The baby was never going to cry? Like, I went into complete judgment, right? So now I feel bad. So let me just go back and, hey, sorry, y'all, even though I didn't say it to them, but I just want to, universally apologize, because that's my own ignorance. That's what I felt. And I'm sure that women that are dealing with that feel that type of energy from other women, especially other moms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all about knowledge, though.
And you guys are definitely dropping some knowledge. We're going to take a quick commercial break. So I'm going to give you guys something to think about. I want you to think about what has been like your most memorable experience on both ends. One that was like super, oh my God, this is beautiful, this is amazing. And one that was like, oh my God, I didn't know I was going to make it through this, child. So I want to hear like what has been your experience. So stay right here. We're chatting with Adia and Ciara Shabazz, two beautiful soul sister doulas. But we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Because self-care should be luxurious. Luxe Noir.
Hey pilots, did you know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bulletin Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, hey Google or Alexa, play Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn. Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bulletin Flight Radio.
welcome back. And before you guys answer the question I gave before the commercial break, quick shout out to Pyro Media Network and Bullet in Flight Radio for joining as a sponsor of the 4th annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. Oh, y'all know I love that brunch, and I'm so excited. It's 5 months away, but that time is going to come by very, very quickly. Anyway, we're talking to Adia and Ciara Shabazz, and they are Soul Sister Doula services, and they offer doulas for women, and we're talking about why it's important, especially for Black women. And Adia just really dropped some knowledge on postpartum and helping us to understand that it's not something that's going to go away in 3 months. And although we all go through postpartum, there's different ranges from, postpartum. I think there's psychosis, there's depression, there's all these different levels. And we do encourage you guys to really be in tune with yourself and be honest. Let someone know if you don't feel like yourself. Even if you can't describe it, you may not be able to put words to it. It is okay to say, I don't feel like myself, right? Adia, you want to say something?
Absolutely, no, you're good.
Oh, okay. All right. So before commercial break, I was asking you guys, like, with this wide range of things that can happen during pregnancy, right? What has been like one of your most, actually two of your most memorable experience from the like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This was so beautiful. Like everything to, whoa, I didn't know if I was going to make it through this, right? What has been, Ciara, we'll start with you. What's been your most memorable experience as a doula?
So my last client, my last mama would definitely be my most memorable and most, how do you say, challenging experience for sure. So both of them. So her birth ended up being 24 hours, or maybe 22 hours, somewhere around there. And I would say the beautiful thing about it was when she found and her crying with the baby in her arms, being so happy that the baby was finally there. Because having growing a human inside, your your um your ultrasounds, maybe even a 3D ultrasound, and you think you know what the baby looks like, but until the baby's out there, you might see like this is what I was carrying for a whole 9 months. It's an entirely different experience. It's just amazing. So seeing her and talking to her about it and being able to relate to her, and that was it was a very beautiful thing. Another beautiful thing was, well, let me get into the challenging part. So she had a very difficult labor. Um, her baby was what's the term? Acylation. I think I'm saying it wrong. I know I'm saying it wrong. But okay. When the baby is tilted in the womb or the shoulders are in the way, the baby can't come out in its natural birthing position how it's supposed to. So there was that issue that we were facing during while she was in labor. They were very quick to say that they wanted to give her a C-section, an emergency C-section, because that was happening. After we tried different birthing positions, we were doing hands-on, all that stuff, different positions. Sorry, I'm losing my words. The baby back into his natural position, so the baby was able to come out how she was supposed to. And I think me being there, having a doula to recommend those type of things, because when you're in a hospital room, a lot of different doctors are very quick to give a C-section. And it's not a positive thing most of the time for women. Sometimes it has to happen depending on the circumstances. But if there is around it, then we're going to work around it. And we were able to do that. And she was just so, it was very emotional for her, but we were able to get through all of it. And finally the baby, a happy, healthy birth, her mom, amazing. After our first postpartum visit with our moms, we give them kind of like a, not a question, but ask them how did they feel about their experience with us being as their doula. And one thing that she told me was that she was very happy being there because she felt like she wasn't being heard, and me being there, being able to voice out her concerns. She would tell me something and she felt like the nurses were agitated with her when no one should be agitated with her. She's the one in labor. No one should be having a problem with her. So having that extra person to be able to say what they need to say was very helpful for her. And she was just really thankful. And I think that made me so happy because that's what I was there for. That's what I wanted to do for her. And I was happy I was able to do that for her.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I do agree. They don't always listen. When I had my daughter, she was my first, and I had gotten the epidural. I tried Demerol, y'all. I did. I tried, and she said, "Wait 5 minutes," and I watched the clock rotate 5 times around, and on that fifth minute, I had a contraction, and I was like, "Give me drugs, illegal." But what I need is something that's going to stop this pain, right? And at the time that they were doing the epidural, I could feel my daughter. I was like, wait, I might be having her. And so I laid back and she said, no, this is your first pregnancy. Like, it's going to be a while, which is not what I wanted to hear with that kind of pain. And so I kept saying, no, I think my baby is coming. It's coming. She's coming. She's coming. And the nurse was very for sure that it probably wasn't. So she was like, well, let me just check you. And she just lifted my gown and she goes, call the doctor. She's having the baby. So I think we know our bodies better than anyone else, even when it's your first. Like, my body is feeling differently. And I think we have to be able to speak up for ourselves. So I love the fact that for those who feel like, I don't want to start anything. I don't want to have a confrontation. Like, you're there to be their voice. And so many of us do need that. I'll scream to the ends of earth when you're not listening to me, but not everybody can do that. And so I appreciate the fact that you're there to be someone's voice that's so needed, especially a woman with contractions. You're kind of weak too. Like, you're not weak as in, ooh, but if you had a baby, that's what I'll say. Adia, same question to you. Like, what was like your most bliss and what was your most challenging?
That's a great question. So for my most just blissful experience, I would say is the first mom that I helped. It was her second baby. The first experience, she was like, "No, ma'am, it went horribly." She said, it basically, like, physically she was even hurt after birth, basically, because of how she didn't know what she was getting into. She went in there with no support and not knowledge of what basically she was going to experience. And so I actually met her at the dollar store, and I walked up to her and I said, "Hi, do you have a doula?" And she said, "What's that?" And I told her, and then we ended up looking up, and her birth was everything we wanted it to be. So one of the things we do prenatally is make a birth plan, or help them make a birth plan, or, put it together with them. And she was very specific, and she wants to labor at home as much as possible. She doesn't want to do all the extras when she gets to the hospital. She just wants to basically have the baby there. And that is exactly what happened. We got there, she's 9 centimeters, and she's ready to push the baby out. Her labor was quicker this time, and it just went exactly how we wanted it to go and exactly how she wanted it to go. So I think that was the best experience, basically giving somebody their dream birth. Because, we can create all these stories in our head of how we want birth to go, and a lot of times it doesn't go that way. But for her, it did. And I was just so grateful that I could be a part of that experience.
Right. Especially for your first experience. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was just amazing. And I don't necessarily have a negative one so far. That's good. So so I'm glad about that experience. But I'd say I've heard enough negative to know that I definitely, I'm trying to make as many positive birth stories as possible, because I've heard from so many Black women specifically about how their birth went and it didn't go the way they wanted it to. They didn't feel supported. They didn't feel heard. Maybe they even felt neglected. So I want to, we want to turn around that narrative for Black women and try to give them, as many positive stories as possible.
Wow. Yes. Take us through the process of becoming a doula. Like, you have this idea, like you said, you were there. Teresa says, as a 33-year-old first time pregnant, I was able to have a natural delivery without medication because I had a doctor that trusted me, that trusted with those that care for us. It's so important. It's so important and knowledgeable. Listen, let me tell y'all something. All hail to the queens who give birth with no drugs. Tasha Champion was one of them. Okay. My last baby, I went, because my first three were induced. And my last one, I was telling my doctor, like, no, he needs to be induced. I don't know what full labor feels like, and we're not going to experience it with this one. And when I went into labor and got to the hospital, they were like, what's your name? I was like, epidural. And they were like, man, we need to have we don't need to have no conversation until the epidural is in. And I had a little senior citizen volunteer wheeling me up because I asked to be let out at in ER instead of going up. Like I was in too much pain. And he was just so slow, just trying to wheel me up. And he's like, how you doing, ma'am? I'm like, I just want to get there faster. And all I wanted, and they told me like, oh, the anesthesiologist is coming. He's down the hall. I'm like, they are not in as much pain as I'm in. Make him stop and get to me. So women that can give birth with no drugs, let me tell y'all, all hail to the queens, because it wasn't me. It just wasn't me. All right. Back to my question. Take us through like the doula process. What do you experience, and what's some of the things that you learn and train on when you're becoming a doula? Either one of you guys want to start?
Go ahead.
I'll start and we can switch, I guess. So there's different ways of becoming a doula. In the US, there's no governing body of all doulas, so there's no specific training you have to do. But there is an option for certification. So you can become certified. Typically, you're going to pay to be in a program, whether it be online or in person, and you're going to go through a lot of training, a lot of information. You're going to have to do a certain amount of births, and then you get a certification after that. Or there's ways to become like a community doula, where you go to a short training, you're going to do like online homework, research, things like that, and then as well as an in-person portion, and then as well as births or, things like that. But there's no specific way or route to go. So we did a community doula training, and then I'm also in the process now of trying to get my certification, about 90% done. So almost there, but there's different ways about going through it. So some doulas actually don't have any formal training. They may just do like a preceptorship where they train under someone, and they just get hands-on experience, and then that's how they start as well.
Oh, awesome. I love that. Ciara, did you want to add to that?
So literally exactly what Adia said. On top of that, Sankofa Birth Workers Collective, that's where we got our training from. And they are still offering trainings. I think their last one that they had or is having is in Palm Springs right now, but I know they serve different parts of California. And how that works is it's for like 3 or 4 different weekends, Saturday and Sundays, like an all-day thing for the most part on each of those days. And it's a very beautiful experience. I highly recommend anyone who's interested in being a doula. You can get it free with IHP or the insurance, Kaiser. I think I'm saying it right, Blue Shield. Yeah, I think, and especially when I do remember when it came to the trainings, a lot of it had to do with making sure yourself is right. Because if you're not right, you cannot help another person in the best of your ability. You can't help someone with a clouded mind. So that was I really appreciate, on top of all the different information they gave, books and all these things that they gave us for training. That was something that they highlighted, and it was not something I was expecting when going into that training, and it was something that made a huge difference. Even just acknowledging my own birth experience and seeing me able to take it in and forgive not only other people, but forgive myself for things that I did or didn't do for myself. Beautiful. It was almost like therapy.
So that, okay, you might have answered the next question that I have for you, for both of you. What was the most surprising thing that you learned while becoming a doula? Is that yours, or do you have something else there that was just like, whoa, I never would have imagined this, or I never would have thought about this with childbirth or something? Like, what was that aha moment that was so shocking and surprising?
I think videos and books can only show so much until you are in the experience, till you're in the hospital, you're face to face with your client. And I think for me, it was just how raw and how cool it really is to be in someone's space, and someone to allow you in their space and to trust you in their space, and trust you with information about them. It's such a beautiful thing, just getting to know people, getting to know people's raw emotions, being in such a raw state. Someone allowing you to be in that was something my clients allowed me to be in that, and being happy that I was there. It was just knowing that, being there, experiencing it is just such a beautiful thing. I can't even describe it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Adia, same question. What was like the most shocking thing that you learned during that time?
I think for me, it would be experiencing what it's like in the labor room from a support person point of view, in a hospital. So I had more
Mhm.
experience like birthing centers and things like that. So I, as you know, I'm a licensed vocational nurse. So I have a little bit of experience with nursing, working with other nurses and doctors and things like that. I didn't have much experience being the support person role on the opposite end. So to me, what was shocking, which, you know, of course you hear about it and you know about it from stories, but going in there and seeing how people just move like they have order, like, this is what we do. As soon as you come in, we're going to give you an IV. Wait. That's an option. So you have they have the option to say yes or no based on how they feel, whether they want the IV, whether they want a stat lock, whether, you know, things like that. So I think it was
Mm.
interesting seeing how basically they will tell you what you are going to do versus giving you the option to pick and choose what you'd like to do. So I think that was important. And that's where the advocacy jumps right in, where you say, wait, you know, what are the benefits?
He's
What are
got
the
some options.
Absolutely.
Wow, I'm 4 kids deep in, and I'm like, I did not know that. I think when you get to a hospital and they give you an IV, it is what it is.
It's what you do.
Never
Absolutely
ever
not. It
knew
doesn't have
that.
to be.
Hi, Keisha. Thank you so much for joining. Sita asked, do you have a better experience with Black doctors versus other cultures?
Mm.
Who do you want to
Well,
answer?
my experience, I've had my very first birth experience. I wasn't able to be in the labor room. My client had an emergency C-section, wasn't able to contact me, and I didn't see her till after she had her emergency C-section. So I was able to experience being with the doctor. My latest one was with a Caucasian midwife, and um, I wouldn't say it was very negative. I think that she respected everything that my client wanted on her birth plan, along with the nurses. I think I know people. I don't know if I can't answer that because I haven't experienced multiple cultures and multiple
Okay.
doctors. I can't say
And
for
that's
my own.
understandable.
I can't say from my own experience, especially my latest one was with RNs, and they hated my guts. They hated that I was there, and because people want to be able to have control over situations. So seeing another person there, I guess, could be aggravating or irritating, especially when you're questioning them on what they're doing. I remember just her heart monitor kept beeping and beeping. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? You guys gonna check this? What's going on? I was getting on them every 5 seconds. Not trying to be annoying, is because my client's uncomfortable. I need your help to make sure she's having a comfortable experience. So I haven't had negative experience with any doctors, just with some nurses.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot this back to Adia because of that. Um, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm an RN, you're a doula. What do you know? Adia, is that kind of the tone that happens
I
sometimes?
I think that it can be that for sure. It can be, I know more than you. You don't have a nursing degree. Why are you here? Or it
Right.
can also be, you're getting in my way from doing what I want to do. I don't
Hmm.
want to follow their birth plan. I want to do what I do for every other mother, which is, as soon as you come in, we're giving you meds. I'm going to give you Pitocin. I'm going to put you on this. I'm going to put you on that. We're definitely doing an epidural. We're doing all of these things. You just want to do all these things. And a doula is there to advocate for the patient, meaning it's somebody who's talking back or maybe helping them talk back to you. And people don't like that because, you know, it's stopping, it's cramping their style. So
Hmm.
I definitely think that is where a lot of the kind of tension can come in. Luckily, I've had positive experiences in that way too, where the nurses can kind of take a step back actually, and they're like, "Oh, you got this," you know.
Oh,
Um,
that's good.
there. It depends on which hospital you're at. It depends on individual nurses and personalities. So I think it just really depends.
Yeah, Keisha says she had one with her middle child, which, now looking back, I cannot have any more children, but I'm like, okay, maybe I do need to do it. Like I said, I love pregnancy. So that probably was something that I wish I had known more about to have that experience. I mean, honestly, I went by what the elders said, like my mom and above. If they say you go to the hospital, you're in labor, you're going to feel this. Like it's just the repetitiveness of what's been said. And you just think that's what's available and that's what you have to do. So that's kind of what I did, right? I'm going to have you guys answer this in like 35, 40 seconds or less, because then I want to have, ask you guys how people can get in contact with you. How do you guys, well, Adia, you said you, for the most part, haven't had like a wild experience. So I'm going to shoot this to Ciara. How have you been able to maintain your calm? Because I know me, like I'm a mama bear, and if you are not listening to my client and she's in labor, I'm not saying I'm going to go off, but I might get a little strong, like tone strong with you, right? How do you maintain that calm in that moment so that you're calm for your patient and also for yourself?
So you mean I thought it was after. No, okay, so and maintain my calm. I'm just saying that this isn't my experience. This is my client experience. This is something to remember for the rest of her life. So when it comes to maintaining my calm, because I definitely be getting heated sometimes. I know, especially last time, people would say different things and just like, and they're trying to be scared. But constantly keeping that in mind that this is about her. She's watching me as well because I'm there to support her and speak for her. I'm not trying to make the situation hostile any type of way or negative emotions in any type of way. It has to be a positive experience. She's going through the and she's going through this labor. We're gonna get through this. I'm gonna be that person she could look at and smile. So, and I'm gonna smile back. I'm gonna be smiling at everyone. I would probably clench my teeth a little bit, but we're keeping it positive. So it's the last thing that we're gonna be coming from me.
Wow, I love that. It's like, no, we're going to maintain this. Let's see. Someone says so much good information. Loved tuning into this episode and learning the benefits of having an advocate during pregnancy. Thank you so much. Virtual assisting by She, because this is why I wanted to do this episode. I wanted information to come straight from someone who's in there doing the work, right? Because I think that that's so important. So as we prepare to close out this conversation, so first, my sincere thankfulness and gratitude for you guys being a yes and being on this show. Congratulations, Ciara, on your baby, because I know you said she's 2. Which means that another one will be on the way soon. Yeah. But I do want you guys to thank you, Marcy. This is such a great topic. I love it. Thank you so much for joining. I do want you guys to share, Adia, I'll start with you, how women can connect with you and learn more or hire your services.
Absolutely. So there are a few different ways. As we said, our business is called Soul Sister Doula Services, sister spelled with an H. You can reach us on Instagram at Soul Sister Doulas, DOULAS. You can reach us on Facebook at Soul Sister Doula Services. And our website is www.soulsisterdoulas.com. So those are a few ways to reach us. Our phone number, 760-321-3355. If you call there, you can call and talk to Ciara, myself, or my mom, who's actually a doula for our company, Mama Sarah. So those are some ways to reach us.
Oh, I just love it. Y'all see these beautiful Black women building as a family. Ciara, because Adia said everything in terms of contact for the doula services, share, how people can get in contact with you for your laundry services for those that are in the high desert area.
I'm so happy you mentioned it too. Okay, so my called HD Laundry Mom. You can find me on Instagram at HD Laundry Mom. A website's in the works. I reply everything through Instagram, and you could contact me through Instagram. That's how I get all my clients.
Okay.
Moms and a lot of teachers, busy teachers and moms. A lot of them are teachers and moms. And then I've even had a husband who just wanted to help his wife with laundry, so he pursued my laundry services, and they had a great experience with that because you get so much time back because laundry takes up a lot of time.
I taught my kids how to do laundry very early just because of that point. We are definitely at the end. This has been such a beautiful. Do you want to say something else really quick?
One more thing, yes. So we are accepting IHP clients. So if you are in the high desert, if you are in the Inland Empire, you can possibly get free services if you have Medi-Cal IHP. So definitely hit us up.
Look, that was some information that we needed to make sure we have. So thank you for sharing that. If you got great value out of this episode, if you learned something new, please like and share this episode with someone else or share it to your platforms. We always appreciate the support. Be sure to subscribe to the Shenomenal Coach on YouTube and Pyro Media Network on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'll see you guys next week. And you ladies, thank you for being Shenomenal women. Have a good week, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.